Welcome to Michigan's WW1 Centennial News Report. I'm your host, Dennis Skupinski. During this program, The Home Front, Kalamazoo County, Part 2, we're going to finish up with the story of Kalamazoo County as a typical county in the United States and how it contributed to the war effort. We're also going to learn about the Salvation Army and the Doughnut Girls and how this related to World War I. Now a World War I Centennial National Update. National Doughnut Day is the first Friday in June. It was created by the Salvation Army in 1938 to honor the men and women who served doughnuts to the soldiers during the First World War. The Salvation Army manned canteens or social centers, termed huts, that could serve baked goods, provide writing supplies and stamps, and provide clothes mending services for the boys. Typically, a staff of 6 members per hut would include 4 female volunteers who could mother the boys. About 250 Salvation Army volunteers went to France because of the difficulties of providing freshly baked goods from the huts that were established in abandoned buildings near the front lines. 2 Salvation Army volunteers, Ensign Margaret Sheldon and Adjutant Helen Purviance, came up with the idea of providing donuts. These were reported to be an instant hit, and soon many soldiers were visiting the Salvation Army huts. Margaret Sheldon wrote one busy day, "Today I made 22 pies, 300 donuts, and 700 cups of coffee." On Friday, June 6, 2014, please enjoy a donut and help celebrate the World War I Centennial along with supporting the Salvation Army on Doughnut Day. As a review, we're looking at Kalamazoo County, a typical county in Michigan and the United States, and we're reviewing what we covered in Part 1. First were the 4 Minutemen and Women, Daughters of Veterans, the YMCA, Funds for French Wounded, Knights of Columbus, the Food Administration, War Mothers of America, Daughters of American Revolution, the Patriotic League, the Navy League, War Camp Community Service, Armory Board of Control, Draft Board, the Legal Advisory Board, the Medical Advisory Board, the Board of Appeals, and the Red Cross. During the second half, we're going to cover some more organizations that were involved in the home front. During the Great War, which was a total war, the United States was involved militarily, economically, and as you can see from Part 1 and Part 2 of Kalamazoo County, the home front was extensively involved in the war effort for the United States. Kalamazoo County War and Welfare Board was organized in the spring of 1918 to assist the various drives and campaigns that were put on in Kalamazoo County in connection with the war. The purpose was to have a permanent organization that should be ready at all times to help with publicity and fundraising. The Women's Committee was organized as an auxiliary of the Council of National Defense. The Women's Committee was responsible for registration of women for wartime service. Some of their activities included finding nurses, finding people to help out with the Food Administration, and also with child welfare. At the end of the war, the Women's Committee was still used to help Michigan when it had other disasters. The Richard Westnedge Camp No. 16 United Spanish War Veterans of Kalamazoo. Their members turned out each time as an escort for when the boys left for the military camps. Also, it fell on them as a sacred duty to conduct the ceremonies for the heroes who died and were returned to Kalamazoo for burial. The Mary B. Westnedge Auxiliary. The objective of this organization is to cooperate with the comrades of the United Spanish War Veterans in extending aid and sympathy to all needy comrades in promoting patriotism and a proper reverence for the flag. They also helped out the Red Cross a lot. Orcutt Post number 79 of the Grand Army of the Republic. With its fife and drums, it marched in every procession that escorted young men at the beginning of their adventures overseas, and also welcomed them home again. It placed tributes of flowers at the foot of the banner of gold stars, in sorrow for those who did not return. Orcutt Relief Corps number 110, auxiliary to the Grand Army of the Republic. Besides having 100% membership in the American Red Cross, its members made sweaters, socks, and knitted helmets for the soldiers overseas. Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, Lodge number 50. Besides its members contributing to the war effort, the Elks Lodge was always open as an open house for servicemen who arrived in Kalamazoo. Mr. Frank Wemmisfeller made a unique record for himself during the war by knitting over 56 sweaters and donating them to the Red Cross for service overseas. For his services, the Red Cross gave him the Red Cross badge. The Central High School Cadet Corps was organized in 1917 and helped boys that were too young to enlist in the military learn military and leadership skills so that when the time came they'd be ready to serve. The Boy Scouts of America was not a military organization, but was always ready to serve, whether it was in time of war or peace. The boys were too young to serve at the front, so they served at the home front, and were proud of their service. The slogan during the war was, "Let the Scouts do it." Michigan State Troops, Company 46, was an organized militia for defense of the state to take place when the National Guard were mustered into federal service. The purpose of the organization was to provide troops in case of disorder in the state, but it also provided as a training grounds for men who would later enlist or be called in as officers.
Like a star that sends its cheerful message from afar. Never forget to write home, even if only a line. Just try to make your sweetheart feel you come meant to make good although you have the whole world against you. Send us your love and a kiss. Those are the things that we miss. No matter where you may roam, never forget to write home. Dimes and quarters, hear them ring. Oh, what joy and oh, what bliss those coins can bring. For now our boys are landing at our shores every day. This is what you're bound to hear them say. Don't forget the Salvation Army. Always remember my donut girl. She brought them donuts and coffee. Just like an angel, she was their best pal. As brave as the lion, but meek as the lamb. She carried on beside the sons of Uncle Sam. So don't forget the Salvation Army. Remember my donut girl. Don't forget the Salvation Army. Always remember my donut girl. She brought them donuts and coffee. Just like an angel, she was there.